Hey everyone, hope everything is going well. I wanted to talk about the price of Bitcoin and how it has to deal with liquidity from the Fed. And it's a topic that not many people have figured out. Some people have, but a lot of people are just, on the Bitcoin bandwagon without understanding the fundamentals. And I do trade some of these crypto stocks. I do have some crypto in some of these exchanges, but I can tell you just because I'm playing around with it, it's a bubble. And people don't like hearing it, but you have to look at reality of what's going on. And the Mac has a similar viewpoint as I do. How does the Federal Reserve liquidity impact Bitcoin? And then he dives into it. He says that the Fed's balance sheet surged during COVID-19, and yet Bitcoin lagged. Okay. And then he also said that Fed's liquidity does not mean immediate Bitcoin growth, but keep watching. And you see from 2019, May 2020, you saw a huge surge. And then you saw this over here. You saw Bitcoin rise up right till like what, November of 2021. And what was happening in November of 2021, you could see that the reverse repo is starting to increase over $1 trillion, or not over a trillion, but yeah, you could say close to $1 trillion. And that's when you saw liquidity getting drained from the system. Hence, Bitcoin was going down. Other high flying asset prices were going down as well, such as the collectibles. And let's take a look at this. And then he said by June 2020, Fed's balance sheet 5.77 trillion, highest ever, Bitcoin 21,000, 115% gain from August 2019. Bitcoin peaked at 67,000 as liquidity and inflation surged, but contractionary policies followed. And then he's talking about reverse repos, which I've been talking about over and over again. And why do I talk about it? It's because on my day job or in my day job, I deal with just basic reverse repo accounting. And then it made me look into reverse repos because I saw online that reverse repos impacts Federal Reserve liquidity, the net liquidity. Once you start to see decrease in reverse repos, you see more liquidity to the system. How does that happen? Well, counterparties get paid interest. And if you get trillions of dollars, that's up to a lot of interest payments. You see this reverse repos going up, 2022. What happens? Price goes down in 2022. And then once reverse repos start to flow out into the economy, interest payments, Bitcoin goes up. Same observations that I've come up with. And what he says in conclusion, Bitcoin is very sensitive to liquidity oriented elements of the Fed's balance sheet. Investors should be monitored as part of the risk framework. And then he lists his sources, Blockworks RES, and Crossboard Cap. Okay. So that's pretty much what observation I've come to in the past few years. I used to talk about what 5 year tips, that relationship, but I looked at it closer and that's not a relationship that's been working out lately. And look at the price of Bitcoin. If you, once again, end of 2022, 16,529. Go to reverse repos is like topping out at like what 2.2 trillion. And then where is it now? 214 billion, or excuse me, 172 billion. So the explosive moves in Bitcoin comes at extreme. This was selling off of Bitcoin 2022. This is the rise of Bitcoin. If you want to look at some other stocks here, MicroStrategy, I was playing around with it then. I wish I kept it. It was, I think like 100. It split, so it was like 100 some dollars, $140. And now, since it split, it just went crazy. And so this is like basically a $3,000 stock now. Just imagine putting 100 shares. It would have got you 300 grand. I had an option position, but I chose to get out of it and I went to play with Coinbase instead. I've made money, don't get me wrong. Count every blessing out there. But from a trading perspective, that was the dumbest thing that I could have done. Still made money, don't get me wrong. Coinbase went from like it still has good return, like 45 to about 305, 306. Prior cycle highs was like in the 350s from my from what I looked at. Okay. So if it goes over prior cycle highs in this mania, which I expect maybe a month or two, Coinbase probably will rip higher, rip off the face rally, in my opinion, especially with a weaker dollar on the horizon, in my opinion, from a trading point of view. But once again, I could look at technicals. Technicals are bullish short term, but fundamentals, in my opinion, are showing signs of this rolling over. I mean, once this goes to zero, what happens to net liquidity? You need net liquidity coming from somewhere. And eventually, they're not going to keep reverse repos at zero. They're going to make it go up. And when that happens, liquidity comes out. You have a rug pull, and a lot of people are left holding the bag. I was listening to a live stream by All Star Charts the other day, and they said that, hey, look, one of the dudes was talking to just, I don't know if he's like a manager of property buildings or something like that. I forget. And he said, oh, I just have some questions about Bitcoin. And he just put $120,000 in crypto just now. So you put $120,000. I wish you best of luck in crypto. This one, worker that never got into Bitcoin, but you didn't get in when it was crashing right over here. That's why there's going to be a lot of bag holders. Okay, if you can get in and get out quickly, congratulations. But a lot of people, this is what happens. They get smoked. And this is, in my opinion, I'm not telling you what to do. This is just my interpretation. Liquidity coming out of the system, liquidity coming in, and now we're getting close to no more liquidity out there. That's the best way of putting it. And if no more liquidity, what happens to the price of Bitcoin after this mania? It tanks. That's the pattern that I recognized. And for me to be wrong on this, you need to see this is, I think, one of the most important charts. It's not a technical chart. I get it. The trend is your friend from a technical perspective, and technical analysis right now, smart technicians are bullish, but they could change their mind within a day. I'm looking at it from a longer term horizon. Money supply has gone nowhere, and Bitcoin has gone up ridiculous over the past few years. Bitcoin has basically 5x'd, while money supply has not 5x'd. Something has got to give. And it's my opinion, the price of Bitcoin will catch up with the money supply growth because guess what? You can't continue to pump up Bitcoin without money supply increase since the reverse repo liquidity is draining away. So that's my own thoughts. A lot of people say that I'm crazy, but I'm just looking at data. And I didn't look at reverse repos 2 years ago when it came to Bitcoin. I just now, figured it out based on the data that I'm looking at. So once again, a lot of people are going to get smoked, in my opinion. And in my opinion, they should be looking at Fed liquidity. But that's just my opinion. You do what you want to do. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Talk to you later. See you. Bye.